STOL that we're seeing tonight is being piloted by Terry Wayne. He's doing an absolutely incredible job, and what an absolutely incredible aircraft. The Super STOL is just aircraft's short takeoff and landing version of the Highlander. Such a cool airplane we're seeing out there. Its upgraded design features include new slatted wings and virtually indestructible landing gear that can accommodate 29-inch Tundra tires and two 13.5-gallon wing tanks. Go ahead and give Terry there a wave. Let him know that you see him. See if you can get a wave back as Terry's down there taxiing. And that's just aircraft bringing us their gorgeous Super STOL. On final now, real close to touchdown. That's that Aero Pract 22. There she is. Doors, tons of visibility with this aircraft in its amazing roomy cockpit. Something you just don't see with a lot of STOL aircraft. They're in there sitting comfy. Look at that pop door getting that airflow. Give them a cheer. Let them know that you saw what a great job they're doing out there tonight. Good job, Team Aeropract. And here goes an amazing gyrocopter for us. This is Gyrocopter Flight Training Academy that's coming down the runway right now, demonstrating their little gyrocopters they have for us today. Look at that baby fly. Gyrocopters are such cool aircraft here in the light sport world. They have traditionally pusher or tractor pull props, but a lot of times now we're seeing those pusher props. And that top propeller is not actually powered. It is spinning just from the aircraft moving through the air, which is such a cool mechanism of flight. So that was that gyrocopter. Now we got that Aeropract coming back for a pass for you guys. They wanted you to see your glorious faces again, and look at them climb. That was Aeropract going after Gyrocopter Flight Training Academy. I see that aero pract coming in too. That's going to be 22 LS again that we've been seeing. Go ahead, give them a wave. Let them know you see them. Let them know that you are enjoying their circuits that they're out doing. There they go, right there. There's your beautiful money shot. Take that picture. Tag them on their social medias when you post about them. Let them know they're out there doing an incredible job for you tonight. That was Bat Hawk. That was just touching down right there with their aircraft. What a cool bird they're bringing to us today. Go ahead and give them a wave as they're taxiing by. Again, that's Bat Hawk that came in. There goes the Aeropract taking off. Give Bat Hawk a wave. Let them know that you see them and that they're here doing a great job. They're going to be in booth 31 this year. Be sure to stop by and say hi later when you get a chance. Look at that. With Bat Hawk, they're going to be in LP31 if you want to go and say hi to them while you're here this week. Well, we have a little bit of a lull in between events. Do take time to tour around here in the Paradise. Swing by the sandbar. Check out our amazing food vendors we have down here, right local to us this year. Super excited to be able to have that opportunity. You no longer have to go all the way over to General to get some snacks, some cold drinks, whatever you need to tide you over. So do swing by our sandbar. Also check out if you want a good walk, go up to the island and see what they got going on up there. That's also where our Pilot Welcome Center is. Hopefully some of you were able to swing by there as you flew in. If we look over the trees right now, we can see we got somebody coming in. If I were to bet money on it, I'd say that's probably our Aero Pratt coming back in. They just love showing off for you guys. So be sure and give them a warm welcome as they're coming down again. We know you've seen them a couple of times already, but we want to see that same level of excitement that we had before since they're out here putting on a great show for us during some quiet time. They're right now making that base to final turn. They're going to be bringing that aircraft down. And we're hoping for that smooth, gorgeous landing like we saw on their last couple of laps. Look at those wigwags coming in as they are sinking that Aero Pratt right down to the ground, aiming for that center line there on that runway, bringing it down, a little bit of a flare, holding it right off the ground. There she is. There she comes, right there too. And see them. They also have an amazing little red bird and an orange bird sitting out here at their booth today. Some truly incredible aircraft. Let them know that you saw them fly. That's so exciting. A pilot loves nothing more than being complimented on their flying. Be sure and tell them they did a great job as they were out flying around tonight.
That's fine. I can't figure out how to play it back, but it did record. All right, so
Look at that climb performance as she's taken off here. What a great little STOL aircraft we got up zooming around for us, filling in our airspace and giving you something to watch while you're sitting here waiting for tonight's full festivities to kick off. Wave as they're going past there, make sure that they can see you. They're doing such a great job demoing that gyrocopter for us.
And we've got 38 minutes, that's right, only 38 minutes left before the Paradise City.
with them this week, so do stop by and see their other aircraft they have as well. They're just demoing this gorgeous blue bird for us tonight. They're turning down onto that final now as they're coming around. They're going to have their wig wags going, hopefully putting on a real show for us, letting them know that they can see us and we can see them, and there we can see those gorgeous LED lights blinking as they're coming down. Looking at that beautiful descent rate as they're coming in, holding it steady, playing into that little bit of breeze that we got going on right now, just helping them out. Little bit of a sink. There they go. We should see a flare here in just a second. There it is. A little bit high. We'll see what this does for them as they're coming down. Maybe a little bit of excess energy. There they go, right onto that runway, right onto that center line, and beautiful. Little plop right down onto there. You can see that grass. Little bit of slip and slide as they're going down with that energy, but look at that. Just beautiful, rolling right down to you tonight. Aero Pratt, that's 22 LS Aero Pratt.
There you go, Aeropract A22LS. Andy Corsetti at the controls. They're in LP26. We're only moments away from the start of the show. When I do mean show, that is going to be in about 35 minutes or so.
We got that gyrocopter coming in now. They're making that base to final turn as they're bringing it in, showing it off for you. That's, again, Gyrocopter Flight Training Academy. They're accessible to you if you want to do some training in these incredibly cool aircraft. Such unique opportunities we have here in the light sport world. Some amazing inventions and some amazingly safe and available aircraft to you. Gyrocopter Flight Training Academy really specializes in making sure that your training experience is tailored to your needs and special for you. Some myths that they like to dispel for their students are that gyroplanes are not safe. Perhaps first generations were a little bit new. Anything new in first generation has some kinks to work out, of course, as any developer knows. They were not necessarily built to aviation standards in previous times, but now they are there. They are making sure there is a name for themselves as extremely safe methods of flight and safe methods to train. What a great way to let everybody experience the sky, which should be the goal of anyone in aviation. Aviation, we like to say, is one of the world's biggest team sports. We're all here to support each other and help out. We all share that same love of the sky. Now we can see our PPG headed out to the runway. We got a couple great pilots lined up for you tonight. We're going to see what they can show for us, show off their amazing skills, and another amazing way to get up in the air.
And we see going out there right now, we've got Kylie O'Connor, we've got Joe Andrini, and we got Russell Cummins. Russell may not fly, but he's out there looking at it, flying a PAP with Bruce Goldstein's design Blizzard is Joseph Andrini. And Joseph Andrini is in the green shirt with a helmet on. That's Ryan O'Connor with her daughter, Kylie, opening up the wing bag right now. He's throwing out the wing. What he'll do is he'll fluff the wing. He'll get some air in there and pull it up. You'll see it'll open up very, very easily. When he turns on his microphone, I have to stop because we're on the same channel. So you need to pick it up when he starts talking. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we call this bouncing the wing right there. It's got open cells in the front which cause the air to come in and inflate. Now if you look, the wind right now, we'll double check, but it looked like it was right at about 8 miles an hour. And right now it is exactly 8 miles an hour from the north-northwest. So they're going to bounce the wing, make sure all the lines are straight, make sure everything is hunky-dory as far as pre-flight checks. Kylie, I believe, is 15 years old. And so she's a good pilot, though. In fact, I found in my flight school that the women and young girls, they actually flew much better than the guys. And I bet you can guess why. Can you guess why, everybody? Because the women listen to instruction and use technique, where guys try to use their ego and their power.
I was going to say, is it because we read directions, Paul? That's really what it comes down to, isn't it? We know how to actually read an instruction manual.
Yes, they do. They read instructions, and men, they try to, and only when they find that their power and prowess doesn't work, then they do it. What you see here is the black shape coming out. This aircraft here they're bringing out, this will be in
us that she's got it locked in.
and they both are flying, it looks like a parajet. Russ, who's not out there right now, Russ has got a Kangook, but he's not out there with it. But we do see Joseph Andrini and Kylie O'Connor, and they're flying one's got the PAP and the other one has got a parajet with a Minari engine, I believe that is. And you can see her bouncing. It's about 50 pounds on her back. She's a little thing. She's only 16 years old. But the winds are nice. If you look at the trees across the runway over there, it's the trees. When those trees across the runway, when they start bouncing, that's when the PPGs and other ultralight aircraft like that start to have some issues. They're bouncing and swaying just a little bit. So.
Paradise City. We're super excited about what we have to bring you tonight, and we want you guys to be as excited as we are.
That's exactly right. And remember, just in a few moments, we're going to start the Sun and Fun 2025 Sunset Circus. That will include the STOL Invitational with the big names, competitive names in the sport, right here at Sun and Fun. But again, Kylie and Joe Andrini are getting ready to take off. This is called a powered paraglider. It is a FAR 103 aircraft. FAR 103 aircraft meaning it does not require a license to fly. All you need is good instruction so you can fly a second time. I had to throw that in. To the trailing end of the right side of the wing, and on the left side, the trailing left side. So if they want to turn, they pull a little bit of brake on that side, which pulls the trailing end down, adds drag, and causes the wing to turn around the axis. We see Joe backing up, moving forward, pulling up the wing. The wind is bringing it up nice and smooth. A little bit of power. He's going to lean back, vector the thrust properly, use the thrust to vector it, and he's up. That was a nice launch from Joe Andrini.
Give him a cheer, folks. Let him know that you saw him take off, and he did an incredible job up there.
And Joe Andrini in the parajet. I'm sorry, he's in the PAP. I said that wrong. He's in the PAP. That's the manufacturer, and he's in a Bruce Goldsmith design. Kaylee brought up the wing. She's going to taxi that up. Nope, she's going to turn around. Now, she was doing a forward launch. My guess is she'll go ahead and do a reverse launch this time. Reverse is where you're looking at the wing. You pull it up. And because the lines are then crossed, you'll walk backwards and then make a quick turn to get everything straight and then go. These aircraft, they fly about 20 miles an hour. Thus, we are limited in the airspeed of the wind, because if you're flying in wind that's 20 miles an hour and the wing flies at 20 miles, your ground speed is what?
0.
That's right, 0. And if the wind is 25 miles an hour, what's your airspeed?
-5.
Well, your ground speed's -5. That was kind of a trick question. Your ground speed would be -5. Your airspeed will still be 20, but you would be flying backwards. And let me tell you, if your landing zone is in front of you, if Mama's waiting for you,
It's real awkward if you're backing away from her.
It's awkward. So make sure that when you do fly, that the air speed or wind speed at that altitude is less than 20 miles an hour.
And kudos to Kylie for demonstrating how easy it is to lay these things back down and execute really safe aeronautical decision making for us out here tonight. She's doing an incredible job demonstrating how important it is to work within something you're comfortable with and how to do good maneuvering if it's something you're not comfortable with. So we'll see, we'll let her have another go here and be sure when she does whatever she decides to do, because she is an amazing pilot, that we give her full support, lots of cheering, lots of smiles, and lots of waving as she goes by today.
So he's starting Kaylee's machine again. Kaylee is in that Parajet with a Minari engine with a Bruce Goldsmith designed wing. Now, the size of the wing is determined by the ultimate payload. She probably weighs about 80, 90 pounds at the most. The motor is probably 40, 50 pounds on her back. So she's probably flying a 18 or 19 square meter wing. I, being 200 pounds, I'll fly a 26 or 28 square meter wing. When I do tandem flights, it'll be bigger. There you go. You saw her pull her left hand down.
Give her a big cheer as she goes.
Excellent launch, and you see it has an exceptional climb rate. That is a true FAR 103 aircraft. Federal Aviation Part 103. No license required, must be human controlled, one person at a time, unless you're an instructor and you have the exemption. And it must weigh less than 254 pounds. There are also other limitations, like you must fly in the daylight, you must not fly over congested area, you must not be a hazard to any person or property. So there's a whole list of FAR 103, or Federal Aviation Rule Part 103, that are necessary to fly legally in a powered paraglider, but like we said earlier, no license is required to fly that vehicle. Joe Andreni. Joseph Andreni. He's been helping us quite a bit here in the media team. So we have a number of other powered paraglider pilots here, Ernie Eli and London Ivy, a bunch of others. They're not flying tonight, but they're here, and you can go ahead and visit Cloud-Base PPG. Cloud-Base PPG is in booth 40B, 40 Baker. Very good. And the other one's Dragon PPG, and Dragon PPG is in LP21. So you can visit those powered paraglider exhibitors here at Sun and Fun, Paradise City, in those two booths.
And Paul, I had the opportunity to interview both of those teams in the last couple of days, and I was super excited to get a chat with them. Powered paragliding is a new world to me, coming over from the certified general aviation world, and it's been incredible to get a chance to talk to them and learn a little bit more about what you guys are doing out here and getting to see these Part 103 aircraft. So do definitely swing by. That was Cloud-Base and Dragon, both PPG companies, and they're absolutely incredible to talk to, very social people. They will gladly chat your ear off about the incredible machines they have.
And it is the cheapest form of aviation and the simplest. The only instruments you have is what's between your ears, and hopefully you've got some good gray matter back there, because that's all you have, and some fabric and lines. And remember, coming up here soon is the Sun and Fun 2025 STOL Invitational, which is all part of the Sunset Circus. That'll be happening.
If we look down our runway right now, we see Kylie coming in, doing an incredible job, fighting with that wind, getting herself back up here safely. What amazing piloting from a young pilot that we're seeing in our community right now. It's always so great to see all of our young pilots that come out to these events and are out here demonstrating their skills. During my day job, I am a college professor and run an aviation science department, so I love getting to see all the new students that we have coming in now, and as a flight instructor as well, it's incredible to see everyone learning and out here enjoying these experiences so we can all share the sky together. What an amazing opportunity and what an amazing young pilot we're seeing in front of us. She is just walking it down. Right down, beautiful touchdown. She's got it on lock. Give her a big round of applause, everybody. She did spectacular, and we want her to know that she did such an incredible job for us tonight. You're going to see and hear some absolute STOL legends at the Invitational tonight. We're super excited to be able to have Jughead here announcing for you guys. I got to meet him back in Ontario at a different STOL event last summer. What a great guy we're going to have up here in the announcing booth. So knowledgeable, so competitive, out here just really showing everybody what for in his aircraft. So we're super excited to have him in the booth up here with Paul. You won't have to listen to me anymore once we actually kick off. But in the meantime, it's been great to be with you and to see some of these other aircraft fly. There we got Joey on a high approach over top of the runway. We'll see what he does. He's out there just enjoying this gorgeous evening we're having. And we are again about 18 minutes from that STOL Invitational. While we're waiting, since we still have a little time, do swing by the sandbar, get your snacks now. Most of our vendors are staying open through the full event tonight, but it's a good chance to enjoy that last little ice cold lemonade. Many of our vendors should be staying open tonight, including some of our vendors like Everything Life Saving, which is bringing you camping gear if you're here under your wing, as well as many of our aircraft vendors are going to be staying open as well. So do swing in and say hi. Kylie, you want to tell us about your flight? How was that?
It was a little windier than what I was expecting. My landing, I got a gust and tripped. It happens. But other than that, it was really fun.
You looked great up there. You did an incredible job demonstrating for these people. What's your favorite thing about powered parachuting?
Just being able to go out and have fun with friends and fly.
Perfect. Do see her. Stop by and say hi. Let her know she did a phenomenal job for us tonight. There we see Joey. He's still high up in the air, loving his airtime and milking it for every moment that it's worth. We love to see him up there, love to see that parachute flying.
That's right. Coming up right now, here in about 10 minutes, the Paradise City Sunset Circus, which includes the famous Jughead, Announcing for the STOL, the most competitive names in the sport will be here. Jughead, how you doing?
I am doing great, Paul. How's everybody here? Ready for Sun and Fun 2025? It is going to be a great evening. Check this out. Is it a drone? Is it an airplane? Is it a flying car? I was just reading a great article on it. This thing is cool. I can't wait to see it fly. If you were here last year, how many here last year saw it flying? A few? Yeah, this is pretty neat. But we've got a great lineup. We've got the paramotors, we've got the skydivers, of course, we got the STOL flyers here, we've got drones flying.
And
it's a good day, isn't it?
The hot air balloon. The hot air balloon's going to be
that's right.
out there too.
We got the hot air balloon glows. So, and I think we're going to have a surprise from the Air Force coming in during the middle of all this as well.
I think they should have their earplugs ready there, Jughead.
It's good at making noise and not much else, and I'll leave it at that.
That's a fact. That's a fact. But right here, this is 2025, so that means this is the 51st Sun and Fun right here at Lakeland Linder Airport, and it's a joy to bring you the Paradise Sunset Circus. Again, that includes the STOL demonstration.
Well, we're glad to be back here. This is our third year that we've been here. Big thanks to Dennis Dunbar and all his whole crew here. The nice thing is we have had, usually, we are fighting a wind coming out of the south, rolling over these trees, making it difficult for the pilots. I'm hoping this wind keeps up the way it's going and keeps right down the runway, keeps everybody cool, and gives us some really nice performance numbers. I would love to see some 30-foot takeoffs.
That's what I'm talking about, Jughead. In fact, I just checked. It's 8 miles an hour, pretty much straight down the runway. That should give Dan Reynolds a good edge because he's my favorite in that Valdez special.
That is exactly true. And we got some new airplanes on the circuit this year. I don't know if we're going to see them tonight, but Keith Lang has got his AP1 out there. Basically, he calls it the flying bike, and it's not too far off from that. And that airplane, I think, is going to be giving Dan and Steve Henry with Yeehaw 7 a big run for the money.
And, you know, Levi Nugas, he's been throwing some dirt today. Levi Nugas has definitely got Dan Reynolds in his sights. He doesn't want to lose again.
That is true, and I know they were flying together in Texas and looking forward to it. And, of course, we got Doc Hollywood here to help us with all the great entertainment, so it's always good to work with my friends here. So I hope everybody is excited and getting ready. If you've got friends on the field that aren't here, get them texted, get over here. Obviously, there's still some seats. I'd like to fill this whole show line up and get everybody out here, see all your wonderful faces, so I appreciate it.
And remember, this is all being broadcast live, so make noise when the camera's pointed your way. It's live on various channels. Sun and Fun Radio has got it going, and there's various Facebook and YouTube channels right now they're going to see this.
I'm not sitting in my car, so I can't tell you. Is it 1550, 1560? What's the frequency, AM frequency on the radio?
1550, I believe.
1550. There we go. There we go.
It on Live ATC as well. Live ATC, go to KLAL and look for either Paradise City or Paradise City Radio. So you can pick that up.
That sounds good. So how many people have never been to a STOL demonstration or a STOL contest? We got some first-timers, some rookies. Excellent. That is great to see. So here's kind of how things are going to work tonight is, what are we pointing at?
The line.
Oh, the line.
That's the most important thing right here. They're going to start and stop right there, aren't they, Jughead?
Hopefully we get it marked a little bit better. We'll get the flags up. Got our paraglider coming in. Who's the guy from the Navy? He does know that this is not an aircraft carrier. We don't need an LSO.
Well, actually, they're giving him 2 red paddles, which means land immediately.
Oh, that kind of LSO.
Yes. He's being told to land, and I think that individual is flying a Kangook.
Well, he's been trying to land for 2 minutes, but he's probably doing about 5 miles an hour up there in the wing, and that is a big wing. That is a very big wing.
They fly about 20 mile an hour airspeed, and the higher you go, so
yeah.
He'll float down in a minute, I think, Jughead. He's not part of the short takeoff and landing, though.
Well, they might do okay on some of the landings, but I think we got them beat on the takeoffs.
I don't know. You can pretty much take off that in a couple of steps if the wind is good.
What is handy about them is watching this paraglider come in and getting a study of just what the wind is doing. Because at the the east end, I've got windsocks that are different than what I've got on the approach end. Oh! Both landings were good. Yeah, let them hear it.
course, if you can reuse the equipment, it's all good, isn't it? So the lineup,
In that case, reuse the legs.
And-
That's why I don't fly one of those. These legs don't run fast enough to get airborne anymore.
and the knees can only take so much, can they?
Yeah, and I've given them all it can take.
So what we're going to have here is a pivotal aircraft is going to go first, apparently, on this lineup. That'll be at 7 o'clock. The pivotal aircraft, that's this white one right here you see. It's basically a manned drone. It's pretty amazing. That'll take off first. That'll fly only for about 8 minutes. Then, of course, the STOL Invitational, which we're all talking about, excited about, Jughead's here for. After that, they're going to have parachutes come in, and then the Arhythmia demonstration team, they'll be doing some precision flying, and then the Great Lakes Drone Show, the balloon glow first, then the Great Lakes drone.
I'm looking forward to it. Arhythmia is always fun to see out here. Those paragliders, it's amazing what they can do, and you get the lighting. We're going to have perfect lighting this evening. I cannot wait for just getting everybody going and everybody here. The concert over there going as well. I mean, you guys have got such a great lineup.
Hey, Kenny Chesney right across there, but don't go there. Don't go. You can hear it from here. Kenny Chesney, but we've got it all happening right here. And in fact, the STOL demonstration, you're going to see top names in the sport right here.
So what we've got going with the STOL here is realize this is a demonstration. So normally at a contest, we will have every 1 foot marked out to about 150 feet because we have airplanes from Cessna 170s all the way down to the specials like Yeehaw, the Dan Reynolds Chinook that are landing well less than 100 feet. Okay. Now for my 170 with a stock 0300 motor, I need a little bit of wind to get sub 100, but in a calm day, 150 is a realistic number for me. Because we're doing a demonstration out here today, we're a little more approximate. Instead of having 15, 20 line judges out there being very precise and accurate, we're going to have about 4 or 5, and we're going to be giving you a little more higher or less fidelity landing numbers, unless we start to get somebody really close.
Approximate.
Because if we get somebody really close, you know where all 4 of those judges are going to be. We know about what it's going to take off and land.
That's right.
And ever since the second airplane was built and flown at the same time at the same location, whether you call it a demonstration for the FAA or not, it's a contest.
No doubt about it. These guys have egos, like all men, right? I mean, let's be honest here.
Wait a minute. What do you mean men? Have you flown against some of the women in National STOL? You want to talk about getting egos and beat.
Well, that's a good point, Jughead. And they're good pilots, too. Everyone.
Yeah, and the thing is, this is a weight and thrust game, and most of them weigh a lot less than me. So it should be a great night out here. The team's all getting everything set up. Of course, we've got our Air Boss Flipper. I see him down there on top of the deal, and such a cool community. Aviation. I remember the very first Sun and Fun I brought a brand new, even though I was an Air Force guy, I was flying with the Navy at Pensacola. We had just gotten the new T6 Texan 2s, and I had the opportunity to bring it in on the very first Sun and Fun that existed once we had that airplane in the lineup. That was my first time here. And now I'm back this is my 3rd time, and back the last couple for the STOL events, and it's just always so much fun. It's great to see it continue to evolve and grow, so we appreciate everybody being here.
So like we were talking about, we've got the top names in competition here. Warren Gogular, Jerry Clemens, Doug Jackson, Sheldon Heatherton, Patrick McIntyre, Keith Lange, Dan Reynolds, and Levi Nugas, and Austin C. I don't know Austin C's last name, but we've got him down as Austin C. If you haven't seen this, let's real quick. What they're going to do is they're going to line up at the white line right there. They're going to put their front wheels right there just before the line. They're going to go ahead and give it the gas. They're going to take off as quick as they can in the shortest distance. When they take off, they'll go ahead and measure out how far it takes for them to take off. They'll then go around, and that's when the last main wheel lifts off. They'll go around and they land. They must land over the line. If they land before the line, that's called a scratch. There'll be no points given. When they land after the line, they try to stop as fast as they can, and then they measure the distance from the line to their stopping point. That's the total distance for stopping, and then they add that to the total distance for the takeoff. Isn't that right, Jughead?
That is correct. How many people here have flown tailwheel airplanes? How many people have heard that you never use the brakes aggressively or land with the brakes on a tailwheel airplane? Well, you're never going to get anywhere in the STOL world. That rule goes out the window here faster than you can shake a stick at. Sweet! The F-16 Viper. And as an F-15 guy, I don't usually give an F-16 a compliment, but I love the old retro test paint scheme on that airplane. That looks good. I remember literally being 10, 12 years old when that was coming out and having that paint scheme, so that looks cool.
And here comes another one. Who's this, Jughead? And that's what we've been waiting for. We had to wait for them to clear the airspace before we could start our party up.
Yeah, the Noisemakers Airborne, Paul. I have no idea what you said.
I just said we had to wait for them before we could start our party over here. We had to wait.
Yeah. So let's talk about brakes. So, yes, brakes will tip a tailwheel airplane up on its nose, but it won't do it when you're at high speed. You got to start getting them to slow down before you have enough brake effectiveness to usually make that occur. So what you'll find in STOL competitions is almost every landing, whether it's on pavement, grass, sand, dirt, we are locking the brakes up when we touch down. Now, even with double puck brakes with big 10-inch rotors, a lot of the airplanes, we can't keep the wheel locked during that initial roll, but touching down with those brakes locked knocks off 2 to 3 miles an hour at the instant you hit the ground. And what that means is it takes kinetic energy out of the equation very early. Because obviously when you double your speed, you quadruple your kinetic energy. And all we're trying to do now is get stopped. And then what it turns into is it turns into a brake pressure deceleration game. It turns into a brake pressure deceleration game, and you start feathering off those brakes based on the deceleration that you're feeling, the deceleration that you're seeing over your nose. Trying to fly that tail just a little bit above level flight, get a negative AOA, and easing off. Things that come into effect. We got dry grass here with sand. It's grippy. We get good braking action here. If you get that grass wet, now you may slide with the wheels locked up the whole way on your deceleration. If you get into ground where you're starting to push sand or starting to push dirt or getting into rocks and the braking action is intermittent, that's when you have to be careful using aggressive braking as you start to get slower. I don't think these guys and gals are going to be worried about braking action. Hey, I thought this was an electric flying vehicle. I don't see an extension cord anywhere.
They've got big batteries in that thing. Real quick, Jughead, one of the things that's very interesting to a lot of folks about the STOL is on these tail-dragging aircraft, they go ahead and power up and they slam the tail wheel down. Why do they do that?
Well, remember, the only way you can generate lift, unless you're changing the shape of the wing like an F-111 or an F-14, the wing is a given. The density altitude's a given. The surface area is a given. So the only thing we can truly do is accelerate faster and produce AOA. So the way you maximize the angle of attack at that absolute short landing is by slamming that tail down. That's why you'll see guys and gals running bigger tires up front to increase their angle of attack while sitting on the ground. And if you can compress the tail spring, whether that's most of us are running air over nitrogen shocks, some of them adjustable. You watch Steve Henry, he Yeehaw 7. He collapses the tail wheel shock. So he's sitting at a higher angle of attack on takeoff than he is when he comes into land. So that is the perfect takeoff is you will, in most airplanes, you will snatch the flaps, slam the tail, and when the tail compresses to its maximum, the airplane pops off the ground at that one instant, you've done it as good as the airplane will allow based on those conditions that day. If you pull just a little bit early, pull in the flaps, and you try to rotate too early, the airplane is simply going to mush, and it'll add 50 to 75 feet to every takeoff roll, but when you're in the competition in the airplane, it feels like it's a quarter mile. Also, the perfect takeoff, you never feel the airplane come off the ground. As a competitor, and I've been on the podium, I've won my fair share, some of my very best passes in the air felt terrible. because you never felt the airplane lift off because it came off so smooth. If you pull the flaps, you rotate, and the airplane just pops off the ground, or it starts to come off the ground before I get all the way to 30 to 40 degrees
Needs
of
some
flaps,
volume?
then I know I waited too
Volume?
long. I gave up distance because the airplane was accelerated and ready to fly at an earlier point. Wind, how does that play into the factor? You'll see him angling into the wind on takeoff roll or on landing roll and try to catch the best wind that they can for their exact situation.
Now, Jughead, this wind has calmed down a little bit. That's going to make these stopping and starting times a little bit longer.
Yeah, but I see Danny's got a microphone. If anybody can move hot air, it's that man.
That's true. In fact, we're getting ready to have the pivotal. This thing is going to take off and do a little thing here. It's got about 8 minutes worth of fun for you. This thing is basically a drone that you get in. It looks pretty interesting, doesn't it, Jughead? Would you fly that thing?
I would. I was telling Danny I would fly it at least once. Let's see what he's got to say.
Yeah, Danny.
Well, we're about to open up the field to normal flying. Methods of propulsion on the machine. It is a single place machine, and going through the pre-flight briefing by one of the engineers, when it lands, they actually put the tail of the airplane down into the ground. It's a bit elevated now, back by the tail. They explained to me they have a keel there just like a boat, and that takes up the landing. That's got the strength and the durability to do that day in and day out. That's how it was designed. More about the airplane and the company when it's aloft, and we'll get the clearance that the field is ready for our normal flight demonstrations.
So, Danny, when it takes off, I was doing some reading actually on the airplane coming down as we were diverting around some thunderstorms. We went out across the Gulf of America from Houston and came straight in from the west. But I understand it kind of takes off in a very vertical profile for the aircraft itself. Not only its flight path, but it goes from kind of that sitting level to very tail low, and then it goes up. And is that an automatic flight function?
Easy for you to say, easy for you to describe. We're going to see it in person. It's a lot more fun watching it in person than trying to describe it, although Jughead and Paul do a great job with that.
Real quick before they get started out, I'm told I need to tell you about all the good food that's right behind you over there. We've got malted beverages, we've got food, we've got the corn guys right there. Ears of corn. Now, I'll tell you what, if you like hot ears of corn, they're right there. And I just got me a freebie, who I am, and I see you've got your cold malted beverage from across the street. Get your food, get your stuff, get ready for the action because it's all happening right here, Paradise City, Sun and Fun 2025. Who's the lucky person that wants this ear of corn? I didn't take a bite. Come on, get it. Come on. There you go. Free ear of corn. Don't say I didn't give you nothing. You're welcome. Enjoy it. Get your ear of corn right over there, everybody.
All right, from the Air Boss, they are sorting out an issue in the cockpit, which I love to hear. Flipper just came down and said we're going to take a few minutes to be able to sort it out, as we say in the test pilot vernacular. Everything has to be right. The responsibility of a demonstration pilot, just like a pilot flying day in and day out, to make sure that everything is right. You cannot take chances, especially in front of an audience. It's not a good example. It is not good long-range planning, to tell you the truth.
No, but that's not an easy decision. You've got the pressure of wanting to demonstrate a great product. You may have pressure from bosses. You may have friends in the crowd that you want to fly it for. It takes a good airmanship decision-making process to go, yeah, this is my big shot, and I'm going to not do it today.
Also, John, it also takes responsibility. Live to fly another day. Take care of your machine and enjoy flying with a long future.
Yeah, and let me guess, it doesn't have an ejection seat?
Hey, by the way, as we're talking about it, for Paul and John, you know, they often say that parachutists, skydivers, like the shooters team this afternoon, they fly out of a perfectly good airplane. But the great Wayne Hanley told us many years ago, there's no such thing as a perfectly good airplane.
Especially if it's non-aerobatic.
Amen,
Well,
brother.
I tell you, I don't know about that. As long as
All
it's
right,
not
I'll
a
keep-
negative glide ratio, I think it's perfectly good to me.
Paul, I'll keep an ear on the air boss. You guys keep going.
All right, here coming up, we've got the pivotal aircraft when they sort it out. After that, we've got the STOL demonstration. Then we're going to have a special thing happening that we're not supposed to tell you about, but I do recommend you keep your earplugs handy. Then we're going to have the shooters come in. Then the Arhythmia flight demonstration team. They'll be doing powered paragliders with lights and smoke. And then we're going to have a balloon glow. And then after that, the Great Lakes Drone Show. That'll be a 3D drone show. That'll happen right here at Paradise City Sun and Fun 2025 at Lakeland Airport.
Well, it's a good sign. She's plugged in the helmet. She's pulled the canopy closed. I'm going to turn it back over to you guys. I want to watch this as much as anybody, so I'm just glad I don't have to hand prop it and yell contact 8 times.
That's true. I wouldn't want to hand prop that. That's got so many of them. But here he goes. Danny?
All right, technicians are walking away from our first demonstration. Pivotal aircraft. Now let me take you through the history of this. This is not a new company. Originally founded as a company called Opener back in 2014. That puts them into the theater for 11 years now. The design started back in 2009 by some of our great Canadian designers and talent. All right, now you're starting to see all that animation on both wings.
Did I hear you say counting blades?
Introduced previously as an aircraft they called the Blackfly, debuted in Oshkosh, the big Oshkosh event back in 2018. That's what they were talking about. By the way, the test pilot is Test Pilot Tina. And yes, you can give her a big round of applause.
Wow.
Current aircraft, a Helix, available right now for pre-orders. And the contact, their website is simply pivotal.aero. And by the way, they're talking about delivery later this year.
So, Danny, is it hand flown or is it the computer's flying it, or can we do both?
Asked me that. It's got a safety feature in it, redundant safety feature. It's got a joystick on the right side of the panel. In the event that happens to malfunction, a flip of the switch on the left side transfers everything over to the left joystick. The rest of the aircraft, they have triple redundancy. That's a safety feature. Test pilot Tina is an engineer in their R&D engineering team.
That's the 2023 music, but
And of course, as you imagine, it is fly-by-wire. Now, when you're talking about the speed of an airplane and the speed of a boat, we talk about that in knots. If you're talking about on the highway with your car, we talk about that in miles per hour. So the published cruising speed in knots is 55. That equates to 63 miles per hour across the ground. 8 independent electric power plants.
So the B-52 pilots will be right at home. It's amazing how quiet it is. A little louder during takeoff, but in cruise, that is really quiet.
Well, that takeoff that you and I enjoyed, that's the first time for me, by the way. That was a very impressive, but a normal takeoff. And the target altitude to climb was 100 feet, then into the hover. Hover mode used primarily, as they say, for takeoff, and we'll see it also at the landing. Aircraft tilts forward to transition into the cruise mode. Now, into the cruise mode, during cruise, the aircraft software prevents overbalancing and ensures controlled, stable turns. And as you can hear, or not hear, it is a good neighbor airplane. And the 8 independent propulsion systems provide stability even in challenging wind conditions. A lot of safety issues and procedures and systems into this well thought out aircraft. And the team is proud to tell you, test pilot Tina, aircraft can land on various surfaces such as asphalt, sand, grass, or gravel.
So I understand you don't actually have to have a pilot's license for it, but when you buy one, you go out to California and they give you 1 to 2 weeks of specialized training, because it's not like anything the FAA talks about covers this airplane.
You're right, it is part 103. Now, we've got to put an addendum onto that, John. Training, training, training. Do not try this without training. And of course, everybody knows that. They have flight simulators, and they'll get you comfortable before your first ride. But John is right. Part 103, no pilot license. And what I was talking about, where they can land and how they can land and the surface they can land on, I equate that to my backyard, which is another great feature. Yeah, don't go to an airport. You don't have to. You got a little backyard, a piece of cake. Advanced sensors, smooth landings every time. Here comes the landing. Again, in your backyard. How cool is that? Hey, John, I'll go halvesies with you, okay? See that keel in the back? That's how they bring it down. That's a normal landing.
Woo! Let's hear it, folks. How cool is that?
Charlie from the Pivotal team, who gave me a briefing early this morning, showed me around the aircraft.
And I think that name is so appropriate because it's really going to pivot where air and travel, personal travel, is going to go in the future. That is incredible.
That is great. Not only incredible, it was great fun to watch. That is normal, by the way. There was no air show routine into that. That is their safe way to take off and safe way to land. And again, I don't want to overemphasize it, but that has backyard written all over it.
And literally, it is almost like a boat trailer. You're going to bring it up on that keel. I think they're going to be pretty busy tomorrow showing people that aircraft.
Yeah, test pilot Tina has the flight helmet off. Out of the cockpit, give her a big round of applause. Tina, you are fantastic. Thank you. Taking care of her airplane like every good test pilot does. Taking care of the details.
Look at that smile on her face. I don't think it's too hard to have that big a grin after flying that. That is cool.
All right, now the action continues. Arhythmia coming into your left as we move Pivotal off the field. Not wasting any time. These are the powered parachutes. Now, this is a formation team that has performed not only here, but our shows at Oshkosh for a number of years. They are a precision team. You
Ladies
can
and
see
gentlemen,
the
please
power
direct your
plant
attention to the show
ready,
center
race ya.
as
is
Arhythmia.
behind the pilot, and not too different from a non-powered parachute. Yeah, they come in for a landing. So, Paul, you've got more data on that. Let's have a little fun.
This
with
is
Arhythmia.
Arhythmia. They are the precision flying machine team, and they've got lights, they've got smoke, they've got it all going on here. They're going to show some precision maneuvers that will wow you. They're going to talk about it here with us. Jughead's going to talk with one of them while the STOL guys are setting up that
I
line.
need to
They're
get a
gonna
quick
chalk it.
pie rip. How was the air?
Air's beautiful tonight, man. I am so looking forward to this week up down here.
All right. You hear that, STOL boys and girls? The wind is good. Steady right in your face. I like that. So here's our team. They're going to set up those flags that the pilots will be looking for. Now, the nice thing is we got a nice steady wind out of the west. The bad thing is apparently every single day the sun sets in the west. And they are going to be using their visors, their flying eye glasses, and everything they have to try to see this line. And that's something that whether I'm flying in the backcountry, I live up in Pacific Northwest Washington, about 80% of my flying is off airport in the river bars, out in the sagebrush, hunting with my dog Dakota, or just out playing anywhere we can land, which is about anywhere. But knowing exactly where you're landing, being able to see all that is part of the challenge, not only of smart off-field air operations, but of STOL competition as well. You'll see some of these airplanes are coming in with such a high nose angle, such an angle of attack, they can't see over the nose anyway. They're looking out to the side. Some will be doing a combination of looking left and right, or out in front to try to pick out that line. You may use the very tall flags to help if you can't see the line specifically. Like we talked about, short of the line, it's a scratch. So there's a big psychological aspect in a competition. Do you go out and try to put a safe pass in the books, i.e. maybe given a 95%, get one score across the line so you have something to compete with, or do you go aggressive from the get-go? That's great if it works, but if you scratch, now the pressure's on. It means you got to really get on number two. What happens when you scratch on number two? Now the pressure's really on, because your competitors may or may not know whether you've scratched, because we like to listen on the radio. We like to have information fed to us. We like to be in the lineup where you can watch your competitor land. I don't know how many times I've come on base leg and I'm looking down watching my competitor to see if I can see if they hit the line or not. So there's a big psychological aspect of the competition, as well as the max performing the airplane and for yourself.
And here they come out right now. Warren Gobular, Jay Stanford, Joel Dobson. Excuse me, those two aren't going, but it's Warren Gobular, Jerry Clemens, Doug Jadson, Sheldon Heatherton, Patrick McIntyre, Keith Lange, Dan Reynolds, Levi Nugas, and Austin Clemens all coming out right now. That's Warren Gobular right there, isn't it?
It is, Paul, and how we're going to run this is we're going to run this in 3 heats. Normally we'll break up the heats in a competition based on the performance categories of the airplane, based on weight, whether they're experimental or certified. Today it's a demonstration, so we kind of got them mixed up. Mr. Warren, he's a Florida boy from down south, and he is flying a 1955 Cessna 180. Got that empty propeller, a bunch of great McFarland products on it, and of course, Clemens Aviation, protecting us off airport, on airport, in competitions. $10 a win, that is a pretty good effort, especially to be the very first person. This air is usually pretty thick. Absolutely, if you like it,
And that's a
let
big
them know.
airplane.
Make some noise.
That's a big airplane, too.
Now this man, look at this, is a Christian Husky. But if you look at that tail feather, that is not the normal Husky emblem that you get from the factory. This young man, Austin Clemens, is one of the absolute best in this industry. Woo, at about 130 feet, you can hear the growl out of that. That is not your typical 0360. Here's his father, Jerry Clemens, in a much more stock Christian Husky. Great backcountry airplanes made out of Aviation in Wyoming. They looked at the vulnerable Super Cub. They said those are a good airplane, but there's a lot of great ways to improve them. There's more room, there's more speed, there's more comfort. I've had the privilege of the first tail dragger I flew. Oh, a little bit longer than the kids. So, you know, a little bit of rivalry back home as well. Wondering who's going to be washing the motorhome when they get home from Sun and Fun. Okay, so we've got the guys flying a 500-foot pattern. We need to kind of space it out. We have to go around the Geico building. Apparently insurance people don't like airplanes flying low over them. I don't get that. But that's going to give Warren a chance to set up. We also need to stay above the NOAA building down here. And it makes good sense because you want to stay as high as you can to keep yourself having options if you lose a motor or anything else goes wrong. So you'll see Warren come in, he'll swing in, he'll start to dip down. Now there's a couple different approaches to landing. You can come in steep, which is handy if you got obstacles to go over, whether that's tall trees, brush, logs you're landing on, or if you don't have good visibility. Today, I think I would make my first pass with a pretty steep approach. What's that mean in my 170? Idle power trimmed all the way back, 40 degrees of flaps, about 1,300 RPM coming down. And that's going to help me see that line. He's going to be definitely using these flags, but with no crosswind today, these flags are nice and narrow in his field of vision. If I was competing, I would start taking into account where that 500-foot remaining sign is and build stuff off of it. This is where a good flying cowboy's helmet and its visor helps you as well, not only providing the protection, but helping with the eyesight. Sitting up high, that one comes in short. There you can see the 31-inch bush wheels on the right side skidding.
That's disappointing for Warren Gobilar there. That's a beautiful aircraft, and you should see that in the sunshine. Whoa!
You better wear your sunglasses when you do it.
No doubt about it.
All right. So now Austin coming in. He is definitely coming in a little bit higher than looked like Warren was. So you can come in lower power settings, steeper angle, or you can bring it in. You're usually a little faster if you're doing that, but you're going to burn off some energy in the flare, and you're going to burn off some energy with a more vertical touchdown. And there's things that we've built into the suspension systems of these airplanes to help absorb that energy and touchdown that we'll talk about. Now we're settling in behind the power curve, a little power, There it is! Oh, no!
I think I call boo on that.
At 101 feet, the Army says no good.
Boo.
Colonel Matthews says no.
Boo.
He's a pretty straight shooter, even if he is an Army guy. And from Louisiana.
So to make it clear, if the tires blow chalk, it's a disqualification.
Yes, if the main tire touches before the chalk.
What
if you land perfectly on the line, it's good, and you're still going to blow chalk.
What if
but
a gust of wind blows it up?
In competitions, we have cameras, and we'll go to instant replay. So Jerry's bringing it in very low, fighting that sun. He's going to go long, but he's going to be safe.
Ho-ho!
All right, how many know what you just heard right there? That was a reversing propeller, absolutely. And you think, oh, well, that's got to be easy. I just got to touch down and pull. No. You talk to these guys at how hard they had to practice and how difficult it is to touch down in a fashion that allows you to safely go into reverse, still get the power applied, and then get it off. And only about 50% of the time do all of those requirements come together. They actually can use the reverse thrust.
He may have been long, but he's in the books.
He is in the books, absolutely. All right, we are now going Doug Jackson, the founder of National STOL and a Badlands Traveler, getting off right at about the 100-foot mark. That is a great first effort there. Here is Keith Lang, a wildlife biologist, a real-life bush pilot out of Alaska. He and I and Dan Reynolds will be doing a seminar forums later. There you go, Warren. Look at that beautiful airplane. Yeah, we'll remind the kid he got the big Strike X. There you go. Jerry's got it figured out. Number one, right up front. Clemens Aviation, number one in aviation, number one in competition here tonight, too.
And look, Ma, no hands.
Demonstration. All right, this is a lightweight Cub, leading edge slats, big bore prop on 160 horse. Oh, and he pulled a little early. That's what I was talking about. And you saw that airplane just said, oh, no, we're not ready for this. So he got an extra 25 feet coming in at just 100 feet or shorter.
And Levi Nugas here.
Levi's got the 3/4 scale Storch replica with the Rotax. Proud Killeen, Texas Army native here.
I had a talk with him today, and he said that he had it out for Dan Reynolds, let me tell you.
You put a little wind on this airplane, and Levi is getting really good at flying it. This obviously is based off of a real-world airplane that the Luftwaffe had in World War II. It was built exactly for this type of operation. Oh, yeah. Now, next time he takes off, I want you to notice something. Watch when the airplane starts to fly, and it rolls for another about 10 feet before the landing gear completely extend their struts all the way. He's trying to figure out a way that he could pin those struts for takeoff and then let them come all the way down for landing, because it always buys them about 5 extra feet as they extend their full length.
As they're going around, Jughead, tell us if you think Dan Reynolds is going to use his nitrous oxide tonight?
I'm sorry, say that again, Paul?
Dan Reynolds, he's got nitrous oxide on his Chinook Valdez Special. Is he going to use it?
He wasn't able to bring that in. The tariffs were preventing it.
Oh.
You know, being from Canada and all.
Oh. When you hear that thing go, I tell you, you know something's going on.
Yeah, that's the warning sign for the moose and goats. You better be hiding because Dan's coming out hunting.
Moose.
All right. Here we're coming back in. Doug Jackson back in with this Badlands Traveler. This is a, I'm going to say custom-built airplane. Obviously, it's a Cub style of aircraft. Some nice improvements, some custom wing modifications in the fuselage structure. Of course, you'll see almost everybody here running Alaska bush wheels. Those do a couple things for us. One, they obviously allow you to roll over big rocks, terrain, stuff like that. There's the chalk line on his tires. Oh, yeah! Oh! That was so good. I thought he had that, and he probably doesn't know that he scratched that. That probably felt good in the airplane.
And now he's got 2 marks on his wheels.
Now he's got 2 marks. Look at the big, heavy-duty Acme struts that provide the suspension on that gear of that airplane. So that's some of the stuff that we're trying to do to absorb energy. When you're touching down firmly, you're trying to absorb that energy. The tires do it. The shocks do it. Oh, Keith is short as well. Skinned the tires to a good stop, though. He knows that that one was a scratch, and he's just going to roll it through. We even have suspension on the tail wheels to all help absorb energy, and it does 2 things. It helps protect the airframe. You know, my 170, 1955 built. They're not building more classics like that. And while I'm going to use it, I'm not going to abuse it. So I run T3 tail wheel suspension system, of course, my bush wheels. I've got heavy-duty 180 gear, so that does a pretty good job of taking the abuses of off-airport flying as well. And I like having the tall legs. It lets me get through the sagebrush when I'm out chucker and pheasant and quail hunting.
So, Jughead, there's only 1 in the book so far. Isn't that correct?
There is. Let's see what Levi can do here.
Levi Nugas.
Come on, come on, come on, come on. There it is.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Woo. That's nice. Got 2 in the books. That's 2 of them.
123. He'll take that. He will take that. All right. So that's our second group. Here comes our third lineup. We're going to start with the Zenith, and Sheldon Harrington bringing in the Zenith there. Redbird. He's been heavily involved in the National STOL Competition Series, been down here flying before. Super cool airplane, easy to build, most of it pull rivets. Good performance. Up, cheating past the line. He gave up a foot there. Bad
Zenith 750.
bad mental mistake. Doug, oh, so close, buddy.
Sheldon Harrington with the Zenith 750 right on the line. Getting ready to go here, Jughead.
He's got the Rotax. He's been doing a lot of practicing lately. Keith looking good there. Acme Aero Badlands STOL Shop helping him out. Now, he calls that plane Nitro, but I don't think he was running any of it today. And also on the Storch, there you go. Woo! That bottom.
Levi, you know Levi.
All right. Here we go. Tricycle gear gives you lots of AOA and a nice lift off at about 140 feet. A lot of people think, hey, you can't win, you can't compete, you can't do some big off-airport stuff in nose gear airplane. That's simply not true.
Now,
you just have to do it differently.
Jughead, I'm not supposed to have a special, but I'll tell you what, I like Dan Reynolds. I like Dan Reynolds for today to take it all home.
Well, everybody likes Dan because he's such a great guy. If he's willing to drive down from the Dawson, Yukon, right at 75.
That Chinook Valdez special showed its stuff, didn't it?
That is a customized Chinook running, I think it's like a 617 Rotax that he's done a lot of work. He has taken that Chinook basic airframe and kind of like become the expert of how to modify it, how to maximize it. And it's not just a show STOL airplanes. He runs a, what's that? All right, I hear there's a delay in my mic. So I'll talk, you guys count to 2, and then listen. No?
We'll get it sorted out.
That is bad.
Something happened, we don't know, but we'll find out.
I think the North Pole shifted again.
I think it did it.
It
We
be
do
it.
know
Are
that
we good now?
there's going to be a magnetic pole shift sometime. won't
All
there?
right. But Dan works those airplanes. I have pictures of Dan having half a moose in the back of a Chinook. He works them in the snow. He works them on wheels. He also has Super Cubs when he's having to move people. He's got 2-place Chinooks. So these are not just an ultralight toy airplane for him. These are working airplanes every day, running a strap line in the Yukon. This year, he sent out a picture, and because it's across the border, I can talk about this. He has a really nice barn. It's about the size of, the roof of it was about the size of this grandstand right here. He put a set of ski tracks across the top of it.
Now,
He
Jughead, I got to ask.
did not full stop on it,
I
but
got-
he probably could have.
I got to ask Jughead, what happened to the other half of the moose? Weren't you wondering? I was wondering. What happened to the other half?
That's on the next load. That's
Oh,
on the
okay.
next load.
So they're coming back in. They're going to do their landing here. Let's see what happens. Like I said, Dan Reynolds, my personal favorite. I'm not supposed to say favoritism, but we got 2 in the book so far, right?
We do. Now,
Who's
what
it-
you're going to find different with the Chinook, obviously he's sitting up front. He has incredible visibility, probably the best visibility of any of the Bush STOL competitors. You're going to see that instead of flaring the airplane, pulling back like most of us, some of us are deflaring to put the mains on. You're going to see Dan can literally almost nosedive the airplane onto the ground because you can't tip it over on its nose. It can go up to its nose, but it just skids along on the bottom of it. Now, he doesn't try to do that on purpose, but he can literally attack the line is almost how you would describe it.
Now, Jughead, doesn't he have a nickname?
Let's watch Mr. Hetherington bring in that Zenith. This is looking good. Hold up, hold it. Ow! He needed one little burst of power. I think that sun is playing a little bigger impact on the pilots than we think.
It could be. So, Dan Reynolds, though, you were talking about that steep descent angle there. The last landing.
one?
This is
All
the
right.
last one. But Dan Reynolds coming in now. Doesn't he have a nickname that he likes to tell everybody? He kind of lives up to it.
I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm going to let you tell that story. What I am going to tell people, though, is so we have some restrictions. We've got a limited time window tonight due to 2 things. The sun, we have to have everybody down by sunset, and we also have some other performers that require all the airplanes to be down. So, just like you never really know how many passes you're going to get in a normal competition, tonight is all going to turn out to be you get 1 pass. And whoever put it together on the very first pass is going to be getting the celebratory beers tonight. So let's see if Dan Reynolds can stay on the right side of the scratch line. Super low approach. The leading edge slats working. Sunglasses. Oh, no! A 35-foot scratch. Don't you hate it when you land in 35 feet and you're mad about it?
Now with the last of the competitors down, the exhibitors down, I should say, what we're going to do is parade them in front of you so that you can show your enthusiasm as we are clearing the area for a surprise for you. And you'll know it and you'll see it when it happens. So that's going to be it for the STOL competition for tonight. For that reason, for timing and for a pre-planned bit of excitement we have for you.
All right. Well, I would also like to thank the men and women in the various companies that have helped make the Paradise City STOL demonstration possible. Those include Operation Airdrop, Airplanes and Coffee, Masters Brewery, Husky and the Recreational Aviation Foundation, Patriot Aircraft, which you'll see flying this. We're competing on Thursday and Friday night as well. TL Sport Aircraft, Slow Mo STOL, yeah, that's
Warren
right.
Gobilar,
There's
Jerry
the
Clemens.
photo
Woo!
opportunity.
Chuck
Photo opportunity and your chance to show your animation.
Crosswind Electrical, Experimental Aircraft Channel, McFarland Aviation, and Trails and Timbers. Thank you for your wonderful support of the STOL demonstration here for, what is it, Tuesday night at Sun and Fun. Jerry, congrats. That's a win, buddy. That's a win. Yeah. So did you guys enjoy it? Did they perform a little better than you thought these airplanes would perform? Some of it, yeah. Come on back on Thursday. Call your weatherman up. Let's get 20 knots right down the nose, and let's see Dan Reynolds operate in the 10-foot category.
It's 7:35.
Mr. Doug Jackson out of North Texas. That Badlands Traveler is looking good.
Yep. Well, yeah. So they got the flyby here in 5 minutes.
And I'm not sure, but I think Levi in the Storch is probably going to be the winner tonight. We'll get the official scores and pass on to you. Keith, good job. A little bit short, buddy.
I figured out why
Yeah.
they're pulling the audio from there. And
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
It was weird because it did do it for the longest time. Then it started.
Well, everybody, my name's John Jughead Council. I sure appreciate you coming out. Of course, this is just a small part of the show, so by no means am I telling you it's over. It is not over. We got some really cool stuff coming up, and of course, we got the surprise. Now, I got eyes onto our surprise as they were trying to get around us to the west. I lost track of where they were.
I understand. We got about 4 minutes for that to happen, Jughead. 4 minutes. You might want to get your earplugs ready.
Well, 10 minutes, that's a good chance to head back there and grab some of that wonderful food we were smelling. Where'd that corn go? That kid
That's
eat
right.
it all
We've
already?
got corn right back there. In fact, we've got the cold malted beverages. We've got hamburgers. We've got the brick pizza. We've got all kinds of vendors right there. They will be here all week long, but you can get it now if you want.
Be sure to go to the Sun and Fun app and come look at the forums that we're having down at the Bush Base Camp. Ugh, say that 3 times.
Bushwheel Base Camp.
Bushwheel Base Camp. I'll be teaching 2 different forums. One on STOL for rookies. What's it take to get started? And the great thing about National STOL Series is they have come out and introduced a rookie class where it does not matter what type of airplane you're flying. You go through some training. We work with them as mentors, and it gives you a safe, free environment to go and compete for your first time. And that has been a wonderful addition to the National STOL Series.
So
The other thing that's cool about it, you know, we've got STOL drag race that's put on. We race Reno, we've raced in Nebraska, we've raced in Oregon. And of course, National STOL, they're all over the U.S. now. We've
Swamp
got events
STOL's
in my
next.
hometown, Moses Lake, Ontario, Oregon. We're in the Arkansas-Oklahoma border.
Louisiana.
We're in Texas, Louisiana,
Coming up
Swamp
next.
STOL coming
Swamp
up.
STOL coming up. That's the 12th
Pennsylvania,
of April.
Virginia, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. So go to nationalstol.com. You'll see great information there. You can find more about the pilots and the aircraft and locations where you can either compete or go watch.
And sponsors.
Absolutely. And, of course, everything is being broadcast live through YouTube or the Facebook page as well. Linked up.
And Sun and Fun Radio. The Sun and Fun Radio is also doing video here. So this is going out on multiple channels right now. You'll be able to see this. And
Now,
remember,
I find it ironic that we always are battling the prop wash blowing away our chalk line, and now we have to actually blow away our own chalk
well,
line.
one day you'll put a hard line down there, Jughead.
No, because as soon as you do that, we have to turn it around if the wind changes and stuff.
That's right.
So a chalk line is better than something that is permanent.
Well, I'm glad it's going straight down the runway. Otherwise, all the campers over there in East Campground will be chalk covered.
And, of course, behind every successful operation, is a really good woman. This is our Nitra. This is our STOL mama, and she works for months on months to make this happen. This is her baby. So let's give a big round of applause to this wonderful woman, her love of aviation and STOL. Thank you, sweetie.
And this Anitra is her name, and she turned 50 yesterday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Anitra. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Coming up next is the Arhythmia.
Look at this. God's got a painting for us up there. It looks like some of the wonderful watercolor paintings you see over in the display areas. That is incredible.
Like that John Ross guy, you know how he paints?
Wow.
Could be. So, any moment now, we should be listening to something pretty amazing here, Jughead.
If I was you guys, I would be looking that way.
You think so? In fact, do it now. Look that way, folks, and get ready to plug your ears. Here it comes.
A P-51, an F-16, and our F-35. God bless America, and God bless our men and women in the Air Force. That was worth landing early for.
No doubt about it. Right here at Sun and Fun, coming right over your head. Got the beautiful flyover. That was a flyover for the concert as well, so they went right over the Kenny Chesney concert just a moment ago.
All right, so Paul, if I think that we got some guys going to fall in, aren't they?
They are. They're going to fall in. Whoa. You know, Jughead, I was in the Air Force, but I never get tired of the sound of afterburners.
No.
Just gives you tingles, doesn't it?
I know there's some great photographers out there with some big lens that just got some lifetime images right there. I cannot wait to see them. Make sure you post those at Sun and Fun.
Sun and Fun 2025. This is the 51st Sun and Fun here at Lakeland Linder Airport. Here's another one. Coming sideways. Oh. It's possible we got somebody dropping in, Jughead.
What's that?
I haven't seen their plane yet. The shooters are supposed to drop in.
Yeah, but these guys got to be on the ground.
Yeah, Lord. Oh, on the ground.
Well, that proves that everybody wants to fly at Paradise City. Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
they
There you
just
go.
wish they could land here and show off their fighter jets.
I'm glad we don't have the B model Marine version in here. I was worried about the flying car blowing away our chalk line. He'd burn the whole field down.
Yeah, it's interesting. Kestrel Aviation over in LP1, they're working on a jet-powered FAR 103 ultralight, believe it or not. That's Kestrel Aerospace on LP1.
All right. Hey, you know, I just took my sunglasses off. It's not nearly as dark.
It's amazing how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, if the sun's gone below, I can actually look this direction now.
Let me wrap up about the pivotal aircraft. If you want to see that tomorrow, it will be on display at the their flight simulator at the area called the Future of Flight Plaza. You have one of those info books that tells you everything you need to know about the event this week. You'll pick that out of the airport diagram, and you can go there, talk to them, look at the aircraft up close, fly the simulator, and learn more details about that unique machine.
And don't go anywhere. We've got some action going in. We've got possibly some folks dropping in here. We've got Arhythmia demonstration team. We've got the Great Lakes drone and the balloon glow all happening in a matter of moments, back to back, right here at Paradise City.
All
This
right,
brings
we're
back some
parachute
memories.
aircraft.
This brings back some memories for me, Danny. My first jumps were out of a Twin Otter.
All right, now we got 2 minutes down. Bill Walsh is here. He's the voice of the shooters team. And by the way, folks, all you great folks in the audience, it's the good shooters, as in parachute, not the bad one, as at Chicago boom boom. Okay, all right. Okay, Bill, you got the microphone. It's all yours. We're about 90 seconds away from jumpers up.
Thank you, Danny. Hollywood, thank you so much. Hello, everybody. Hello, Paradise. Are you ready to see some American heroes drop from the skies? Are you ready to see the incredible Shooters parachute team, the 2025 Shooters? You've probably seen them in the movies, watched them on TV. Today, you'll see them in person as they drop on into Paradise from about 6,000 feet. I'm Bill Walsh, retired Lieutenant Colonel from the United States Air Force and United States Special Operations Command. High above, we've got 5 incredible shooters getting ready to exit. From the left, the Twin Otter, the beautiful Twin Otter from Skydive City, flown by Kyle Salvetto. He's lining up on his jump run. Right now, looking out the door, our jump master is doing a spot, looking at the best place to exit the aircraft for his landing. Our 5 2025 shooters will exit the aircraft each about 30 seconds apart. Now, high above Paradise, take a look as that incredible Twin Otter lets up about 5,500 feet to 6,000 feet, holds his power, and we await a jumper away. TheShooters.com. Check them out. Performing across North America and on 3 continents, worldwide, all across the airshow circuit. Now watch high above us, Airshow Center, right above Paradise, in the beautiful blue skies of Lakeland. Jumper away! Watch as the jumper races toward Earth at 120 miles per hour. You can see the dots. They look like dots from here. Jumper number 2 away. Jumper number 3 away. Jumper number 4 away. And jumper number 5 away as they open the iconic red, white, and blue canopy of your 2025 Shooters parachute team. They'll fly those canopies much like an airplane. To turn left, you toggle left, you pull down. To turn right, you toggle right, and you pull down. We have 5 incredible shooters. Our number 1 jumper is our team leader, Keith Walter, with 5,000 jumps. The former executive officer of the United States Army Golden Knights. He's flying our nation's banner. He's also the team leader of the Shooters and the former team leader of the United States Special Operations Command Paracommandos. Our number 2 jumper, Keith Hanley, with a red, white, and blue streamer, with 3,400 jumps. He's got 23 years as a special operator. Our number 3 jumper, Yvette Walter, flying a pink banner in honor of all of our female aviators. She's got 3,000 jumps. She's also the vice president and co-owner of the Shooters. Our number 4 jumper is Ken Aites. He's a retired Lieutenant Colonel Green Beret. He's a combat decorated veteran. He's flying a flag streamer with 3,680 jumps. And our number 5 jumper is Paul Sessions with a red, white, and blue streamer with over 2,800 jumps. Now, ladies and gentlemen of Paradise, these guys can start to hear you. Let's give it up as they get closer to Earth. And as Keith Walter sets up his landing, flying a base leg down to final, very much spotting his landing area. He can start to hear you. Let's give it up for him right here. With our incredible nation's banner, Old Glory, as he waves to you, he sets up his landing. Once again, let's give it up right here for our president and team leader from Huntsville, Alabama. It's the incredible Keith Walter. Our number 2 jumper, again with the red, white, and blue streamer. He can start to hear you right now. Keith Hanley coming on down with that incredible streamer with 3,400 jumps, 23 years of military experience. Give it up for him right here. The incredible Keith Hanley right there. our number 3 jumper, with a salute. And co-president, Yvette Walter. And our number 4 jumper, once again, a retired lieutenant colonel, Green Beret, with combat experience, a decorated veteran. The shooters, a veteran-owned, veteran-operated. They call us the USA team. Let's give it up. You can hear him, and he can hear you. Let's give him a great big welcome back to Earth for the incredible Ken Aites, right here from Tampa, Florida. And spiraling down, losing altitude. Are online at shooters.com. Also, your pictures, put them on social media, tag us in them. Come see us anytime. But here he is, he's setting up this incredible landing after falling from 6,000 feet. Ladies and gentlemen, he can hear you with a red, white, and blue streamer. 2,800 jumps. Paul Sessions right here. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2025 shooters started as the shooters right here at Sun and Fun. And we are so thrilled to be back to Sun and Fun, and certainly right here in paradise on a gorgeous Lakeland evening. For the shooters, I'm retired Lieutenant Colonel Bill Walsh, handing it back to Hollywood, Danny, and this incredible team with this incredible night show. Danny.
All right, thank you, Colonel Walsh. Give him a big round of applause as well. And by the way, a salute to your team. They not only worked for us tonight, precision touchdowns, but we're good on time, and I like the way this team as well. Make sure that everything is correct. If it's not totally right, it must be wrong.
There
have
we
an
go.
Obligation to
Talking about
aviation.
good crew chiefs, he figured out what was wrong. Whether it was a spark lead or what. Little run up on the, I don't know if you can all see it, but he basically braced his legs out in front of him and nailed the throttle.
So, John,
Tried not to get
I
blown
think
over.
they have to check both mags, see if they get a proper mag drop, and then cycle the prop through, of course, to get the warm oil in the prop. If it sounds like I'm exaggerating, just let me know. You're probably right.
You know, Danny, I've seen all the volunteers running around out here all over the airport today in their special blue shirts. And this operation does not live, does not even begin to become a dream without the volunteers. So I would sure love everybody to put your hands together. When you see a volunteer out there, thank them for whatever they're doing out here, whether it's picking up trash, moving seats, delivering food, but we can't do it without you. Thank you very much.
Now the Arhythmia team making their final preparations. Highly skilled. There's the lights we talked about. Paramotor instructors, they're from throughout the United States as they prepare to run into the sky. Yes, it will be a sprint for takeoff. Showbiz is what this is all about. As it gets darker and they get into their formation flights, they will not be obscured by the lack of sunlight. All you need is the distance of an average football field to be able to safely get off and back on final approach with your gear down for a landing. Now they'll be approaching for their parade pass as they come by the next time. Be sure and give them a loud cheer because they can actually hear you over their radio and headset. The louder you cheer, the better and tighter they're going to fly. So they invite you to get loud. Show business and imagination rules the world. Light up the sky. It is an ultralight flying machine that you wear like a backpack. 1 week's worth of proper training will get you into the air. They're easy to fly, easy to transport, and easy to maintain. About the size of a football field, and after you disassemble the paramotor, it is small enough to fit into a small car. Arhythmia, I'll spell that for you because we're going to give you some information on that. AIRYTHMIA is the nation's premier paramotor demonstration team. Mission of the team is to share the sport of paramotoring while entertaining people of all different backgrounds, inspiring them to learn more about the purest form of recreational flying imaginable. There's the stack formation and the stack transitioning into a 360-degree turn. I talked to you about their precision, and this is part of it. You look at the precision of the spacing, the distance, and the stack of the machines. They perform at air shows and events throughout the country. Each pilot represents a school where they can teach you how to fly a paramotor. You can do that even though you may not have a pilot's license and you have never flown an airplane, no problem. 1 week of training is what they say. Run into the sky, fly your paramotor for yourself, and watch for the team to come in on the staggered cross. The team is led by the team leader. His name is John Isley. His paramotor school is Pair America, located in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Next in the stack, going from bottom to top, Alexis Quintana, followed by Justin Fox. Justin's from Leading Edge PPG, his school in Schoolcraft, Michigan. Finally on the very top, Kyle Mooney. He is from One Up Adventures in Lake Wells in the great state of Florida. Echoing John Consol's tribute to our great volunteers, the team would like to make this flyby a dedication to all the volunteers that make the show possible. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Working early in the morning before we get here, working late at night after we've left the field. When you didn't think it could get any better, get a load of this. Airborne Pyro. Arhythmia would also like to thank their supporters, Leading Edge, PPG, Midwest Parajet, Nebraska Paramotor, One Up Adventures, Par America, Resurgence PPG, and Skyfield Flight Works. Performers, John Isley from Par Americana, Alexis Quintana from Leading Edge PPG in Schoolcraft, Michigan. Ship number 3, Justin Fox, Leading Edge PPG, also from Schoolcraft, Michigan. And Kyle Mooney, One Up Adventures, the name of his company, Lake Wells, Florida. Sponsors for the team's performance are Leading Edge PPG, Midwest Parajet, Nebraska Paramotor, One Up Adventures, Par Americana, Resurgence PPG, and Skyfield Flight Works of Statesboro, Georgia. Get a load of this. I talked to you about the formation flight, the stacking, the 360s, and then the split, precision split at Airshow Center. All right, look left, coming in left to right, coming in right to left. In front of us, they'll do a cross over the top of the field. Both are stacked in the opposing maneuver. That's too cool. They got some hours in to be this good. I can tell you this from watching John Isley, the team leader, for many years at Oshkosh, day and night. They're a very dedicated group of precision flyers. And like all the other performers here, throughout the course of the day and the course of the evening, they take their flying very seriously, but they don't take themselves serious at all. Now from the head-on maneuvers, watch as they very artistically get back in that stacked formation. Wasn't that great? You can applaud if you love them. Thank you for that.
Danny, as a fighter pilot, ran a lot of intercepts. That was an impressive intercept. I like that turn rate.
That was precision. You're right. There's a lot of rehearsal that went into that. More photo opportunities coming in over the tree line. Light them if you got them, as they said. Smoking is permitted here. Artistry in the sky. And I noticed a little special effects on the other side of the team as the sky was, Mother Nature was lighting up the sky. And another great split with pyro. And the waltz, the dance. And the landing, watch the landing gear, just like a skydiver.
Oh, yeah. Nice and smooth.
Piece of cake. Speed control. And coming in sequence, just like a normal airport, giving themselves spacing, the flare, landing gear down, and another precision landing. Gets quiet.
Toe dragon, toe dragon.
Speed
Little
brake.
power as well.
Now, be back, by the way, for our nighttime show here in Paradise on Thursday, and we will be performing again on Friday. Thursday and Friday, 7 o'clock, this team will be back. So tell your friends, come back and join us.
Danny, I think I'm about to see something that I have never seen before. We've got, is it Dakota drones? Did I have that right?
We've got the drones, you're right. And we'll tell you a little bit about the team.
That's going to be Starlight Drone Shows. That's
Yeah, you're right.
StarlightDroneShows.com.
Starlight Drone.
They're out of Colma, Michigan.
Michigan. The town they're from is Coloma, Michigan, and it was known at one time as the magic capital of America. More magic tricks were invented in that little town than any place else in the U.S.
So a land
you
of,
can look it up. You
of
look it
deception,
up.
huh?
It's magic. It's magic.
So I'm just giving some information because of the weather activity just about 15 miles away. They have scrubbed the balloon glow. But still, next is coming the drone show that's coming up right now, StarlightDroneShows.com. They'll be getting ready and letting go. Great show, three-dimensional display.
And we're going to do that, by the way, to music. Another big round of applause as the team passes in front of you.
Woo!
Get ready for the
Yes.
Loving every minute of it. Great sky dance.
My phone, and I could look on the Sun and Fun app and get the whole schedule for tomorrow, but you got some teasers? You got a little bit of what's going on tomorrow?
Oh, I'll leave that to the pros. Let's say the show will start at 1 o'clock with the national anthem, and it will be blockbuster throughout the course of the afternoon.
Well, Danny, if you don't mind, I'd like to tell you the show actually starts here in Paradise City at 7 in the morning with powered paragliders, powered parachutes, and after that at about 9 o'clock will be the general aviation ultralights flying. They'll do that right up to about 11:45, and we'll have the manufactured showcase. About 12 o'clock, 12:30 or so, will be the big air show. Pick it up from there.
Yeah, so be with us there tomorrow. And by the way, because of our night show at the big airport tomorrow night, will be dark here, but you'll still be entertained in the evening. We'll have a full show like Paradise. It will start with the sun up, and we'll go deep into darkness with the night-powered acts and the night pyro acts and a lot of action.
And if you haven't seen it, so far they've been testing the lasers. It is something to see. They've got quite a pyrotechnic extravaganza here at Sun and Fun. The 51st Sun and Fun at Lakeland Linden Airport. It's going to be something to see. They've got the wall of fire. They've got the airplanes shooting the fireworks. And, of course, those lasers dancing around in all the smoke. It's something to see, Jughead.
Well, and the temperature's going to be nice and cool. And let me tell you, we've been doing this a long time, and it's never gets old watching a night air show. It is incredible what those pilots can do. The pyro on the aircraft, just the different optics. It is a special feature.
What you end up seeing, as you guys know, is you see pyrotechnics and not airplane. The airplane is dark, but the pyrotechnics are streaming off the wingtips and the tail, and that's the artistry in the sky. That added to some LED lights that are changing colors all the time. It's a very artistic art form of aerobatic flying under cover of darkness. So to reiterate, a night show tomorrow night at the main airport. We'll be back Thursday night and Friday night right here in Paradise, and then Saturday night back over to the main airport for our second and last nighttime show.
And if anybody's interested in educational opportunities here at Paradise City, Sun and Fun, the 3rd of April at 10:30 in the morning, we'll have the legendary Phil Lockwood from Lockwood Aviation here with the Rotex two-stroke maintenance. That'd be for the 912 and 914. And at 12 o'clock, let's talk powered parachutes with Guylan Gagley. He's an LP-14 power chute. At 1:30, flying a weight shift trike, that's Larry Mednick, LP-16 Evolution Aircraft. And then at 3 o'clock, the best FAR 103 ever, that's the Merlin Light. That's Chip Irwin, LP-24 in the Aero Marine. That's LP-24 Aero Marine. So educational opportunities all week long here at Paradise City. And, of course, you can see Phil Lockwood not only tomorrow with the two-stroke Rotex maintenance tips, but at 10:30 on Friday with the four-stroke maintenance tips. So if you're interested in that, that's what you ought to do. And if you want to see the full schedule, look at the full schedule for Sun and Fun activities, and you'll find all the educational opportunities, not only here, but at the Bushwheel Base Camp. That's something tough to say. Say it 3 times, Jughead.
Absolutely. Bushwheel Base Camp, Bushwheel Base Camp, Bushwheel Base Camp. And at 10:15 tomorrow, it'll be STOL for rookies. Learn what flying, airmanship, and decision-making skills are necessary to safely compete in STOL competitions. Learn how you can maximize you and your aircraft's capabilities to be able to safely get started in a very rewarding and fun STOL world.
So as you know, we've got all things going on right here at Paradise City and Sun and Fun in general. Remember that the STOL
To keep you aware of that, but right now we got good distance on it. Everybody concerned is looking for that. So stay with us. The temperatures are cool. We're counting down to make sure it's dark for the drones. They're going to do a little sky dance to the background of some patriotic music, and then we are going
And if you're out camping with your airplane, you wake up in the morning, you're looking for that cup of joe, come on down to the Bush Wheel Base Camp. Airplanes and Coffee is providing complimentary coffee to all our guests between 8 and 12 each day. And our Bush Camp is just right down here to the east, right at the corner, basically across Caddy Corner from
I'm being told that we're going to cut off the live stream right now because it's getting too dark to film. So this is going to end it for the Sun and Fun Radio Live.